Okay, I go.
Okay.
Welcome, welcome. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us in this last, let's say, last episode of this e-learning session organized by FIBA Africa. Today, we are going to talk on act of shooting and free throw administration. And today, with me, we have Vitalis GODE from Kenya and our great friend who will be our guest. And you can see him already on your screen with players and toys there, Mr. Falaki from Cairo, Egypt. Without wasting much time, please, Gode, take the chair. Continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Karim. And again, let me take the opportunity to welcome the participants to this. As has been mentioned by in the introduction, our topic of discussions today are two elements, act of shooting and free throw. And for that reason, we have organized our discussion as follows. We shall talk about why we have this rule briefly, specifically the act of shooting rule. We shall talk about the act of shooting itself as a rule, and we shall talk about free throw administration. So basically, this is how we have structured our discussion today. As concerns act of shooting, we shall have two modes of presentation. We shall present what the rule is all about, the basic philosophy behind the rule, and what the rule is all about. Then we shall have demonstrations of certain specific aspects of act of shooting by Mr. Falaki, and we shall have also illustrations on the same after Mr. Falaki's demonstration. Falaki will have two sets of demonstration. First, what is act of shooting? Once we agree on that and we illustrate it, then there will be now the foul on the process of act of shooting, which shall be demonstrated, and then we also illustrate it. Then thereafter, Mr. Karim will take us through the free throw administration process. So without much ado, then we go straight to the task of the day. So why do we have this rule? What is the philosophy behind this rule of act of shooting? As we all know that the game of basketball, the most important aspect, the most important critical aspect that goes on record, that is recorded on paper and that is kept for life is the basket. So every team on court works very hard to score, and every team works very hard not to concede a basket. So that's why act of shooting is an important aspect of the rule. And the team that scores more baskets, this is something that is obvious, comes out as the winner of the competition, and this is the most important part of the game. So why do we have this rule then? Why do we talk of act of shooting? Why is it there? Why is this Article 15 there in the rule book? The primary reason of this rule is to have a constant for fairness. Like we mentioned yesterday, rules has two aspects, the element of fairness and the element of safety. This one is mainly fairness, to give a clear, very, very clear criteria of judging when a player is shooting or not. And therefore, decision-making is clear. When there's a clear criteria of judgment, then we also have consistency in this judgment. So this is a very a facilitative rule for the officials and also for the coaches to understand and take advantage of it where possible. So what is the rule all about? And as we mentioned, the rule is Article 15. What is it all about? The rule sees basically 4 ways in which a player can make a basket, in which a player can score. A player can score by shooting. Of course, we all understand it from a coaching perspective. Everything that goes into the basket is a shot. But a player can score a basket according to the rules by shooting. What is shooting? Shooting according to the rules, when the player has the ball in his hands and he throws it towards the opponent basket. Opponent's basket. This is critical. We say that is a shot. How you throw it, the players have and coaches have developed very many styles, 1,000,001 styles to do so. You can also tap the ball to the basket. When the ball rests on your hands and you take it back, slight tap to the basket. That is also a process of shooting. The most spectacular aspect of the game is, of course, a dunk. And if you have watched this game before, you know how spectators, coaches, and players themselves thump themselves when a dunk takes place. And lastly, did I lose the sharing screen?
Yes.
Yes, you can share again, please.
Yes, I'm sharing it again. Thank you. And lastly, there is always that drive to the basket. When a player moves with the ball, attacking the basket, and this is what we call a drive. So these are the 4 aspects which shall be looked, but basically summarized into 2 again, these 4 aspects. That when is this action? When do we say a shot is taking place? We say a shot, and this is where now Mr. Falaki will come in and help us to demonstrate once I finish this, this element. When do you say a shot is taking place? Mr. Falaki will take us through this, the shot and the drive, so that I don't have to go through this in a mental way. And all we want to remember is that in this process of trying to shoot, trying to drive, trying to score, contacts occur, and that is the climax of our discussion today. So, Mr. Falaki, I now welcome you. I will remove the screen so that we can all concentrate on the demonstration for the shot, the 2 aspects of the shot that you can demonstrate. Then we shall also use the illustrations. Okay? Falaki,
Okay,
please.
thank you. Good day and welcome for all the listeners and participants from the countries of Botswana, Lesotho, Namibia, Tanzania, Uganda, and Zambia. And we are going to go through the act of shooting, and Mr. GODE has told us. Moves the ball towards the basket are not considered to be the act of shooting. Why? Because as the old rule states, if sometimes this player, now we see the defender with the green, if this player is starting to make this move while with his hands, if he's moving the ball, balancing the ball, if he's moving the ball with his hands and then he tries to shoot to the basket by his both hands, we considered before that this is a kind of act of shooting. Now they have deferred by the definition and the new definition that in that case now the act of shooting begins when the player starts to move the ball towards and upwards toward the basket. This means that the first action that he made by balancing his hands before making the shot are not considered to be the act of shooting until he gets his ball, his 2 arms or his 2 hands with the ball towards the basket, and then starts. That's the starting of his act of shooting. And of course, it ends when the ball leaves his hands. When the ball leaves the hand of the shooter, so this is the ending of the act of shooting of this player. Unless this player is off the court or off the ground, he is still in the act of shooting until he gets back once again to the ground. Now, this is the normal type of shot. As we say, the set shot or the jump shot. Set shot, this means that he has his 2 feet on the ground and with the ball, he's trying to shoot, or even if he's jumping and returning once back on the ground. Now, let's see the other type of shooting, which we call the layup shot. The layup shot, as this player is making the layup shot, or the drive shot, while running, this player, if he receives the ball or he starts by resting the ball on his hand after continuing the dribble, he makes the first step, then the second step, and then jump for making the shot. So from which point we can consider this player as making the act of shooting? As the rule says, by the new rules, it says begins when the ball has come to rest on the player hand. This means that this one was making the dribble, and then when the ball has come to rest on this player's hand, and then he's carrying the ball now to make the drive or the two steps, the 1, 2, and then the layup shot. So the starting was when the ball was resting on his hand upon completion of the dribble, or even if he catches the ball from his partner. This means when he catches the pass and then starts these two steps, as soon as he catches the ball while he's in the air and starts to make the drive, this is also called the act of shooting, and ends at the same, like the act of shooting as we saw in the last time for the set or the jump shot, upon when this ball is released and this player gets back to the ground. At this time, the act of shooting is ended. I think this summarized the act of shooting, and the mic now returns, the microphone returns to GODE to continue the explanation. Thank you, GODE.
Thank you very much for the demonstration. Allow me to share the screen again. Okay. So Mr. Falaki has taken us through these two elements. Basically, he has shown us when the act of shooting begins for a set shot, and also for the player who is elevated, players who has jumped. Also, he has shown us the act of shooting for a player who was dribbling the ball and taking a drive. It starts at this point and ends when the ball has been released. And for the player who has jumped, when he comes back or she comes back on the floor. Thank you very much, Falaki, for that. Similarly, we also have two other sorts of shots. Here we have a player who taps, the ball was shot, or the ball hits the ring, it went up, and this player is able to tap the ball back. This process of tapping is considered also act of shooting. And as you all know, the dunk, most spectacular part of this game that we enjoy, is also a process considered to be act of shooting. Dunks come in many forms. Can be reverse dunk, alley-oop. It comes in many, many forms. So this is what we just wanted to show, the process of act of shooting. Now, just to spice this, I don't know, Mr. Karim, you are ready?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. I have this to the participants. We have, having seen the act of shooting situations, we have seen the set shots, we have discussed the drive, we have seen a tap, and we have seen a dunk. Now we have this question to the participants, our dear participants. This is the beginning of the game. As you can see, we have two players who are jumping at the beginning of the game. The referee is here. There's white and there's black. And we have umpire one officiating the jump ball. And now the ball is tossed up and it is tapped. This guy is strong and the ball is able to come here all the way and here. Is this, based on what we have discussed, would this be considered act of shooting? Yes or no? Could the participants use the chat to give us their opinion? Just to engage you. Do we have any opinion?
Not yet.
All right, we have one. I don't know what it is,
Yes,
but we have
not
one.
considered.
Yes.
Nagib says not considered. Not. Mm-hmm. Asanya says not.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Kasakia. Sorry.
So what's the general
No,
consensus?
he
of
was
the
not
6 to
in the
7
act of
responses?
shooting. Mark said
Yes
not
or
of
no?
shooting. No, no. One has said yes. Betty has said yes. Maybe she can give reason of yes because everybody says no.
Uh-huh.
No, no basket counts. Most
Falaki,
of them have said no.
okay, fine. Thank you for the answer.
Only
Now
one
we
has
want
said
to
yes.
get you, Falaki, I know it's difficult to demonstrate the tab. I will come out again so that you can help us. I know it's difficult to demonstrate the tab, but could you give us our discussion on this, Falaki, please?
Yes, about the tap. Now, if the ball is in the air, the ball is in the air, and it's coming towards the player or the attacking or the offensive player. So the tap means when this player just touches the ball or a slight touch of the ball to throw it in the direction of the basket. This is called the tap. So the tap means when the ball is in the air and this player, the offensive player, just taps the ball, a slight tap, just to get the direction of the tap towards the basket. So this is called also the act of shooting. This means that the ball was not with the player or the offensive player, but as soon as this player is touching the ball, so this is called the tap of the ball. Okay, that's I think that's clear now. Good day.
Yes, thank you, Falaki. Thank you. So this, we just wanted to engage you. We will come back to this situation when now we make the next set of demonstration and explanation. So we conclude that this would be considered, because the ball has gone direct to the basket, this is act of shooting in this moment, with all the consequences that follows. So I hope to get your question from the participants on this action should the next element of, after we discuss the next element. Falaki, I want to introduce the next element, and I would like you to be ready to now guide us on act of shooting when there is a foul on shot. I will remove this so that you can demonstrate.
Okay.
You ready, Falaki?
Yes, I'm ready, yes.
Okay, fine.
As we were explaining before, the act of shooting, now let's see when it comes to a contact. Remember about the contact, the legal or illegal contact. Remember when we were talking about the cylinders. This player has his own cylinder and the defensive player has his own cylinder. Now, when the player or the offensive player is making his shot, as soon as the defender gets through the cylinder of the defender, any contact that happens with the defender now is the responsibility of the defensive. Any act that happens with the offensive player or the shooter is the responsibility of the defender, because it's him who enters through the cylinder of the shooter. Now, if this player touches the body, the head, the hand, the arm, the shoulder, any contact now, it's the responsibility of the defender, because sometimes we see that when this one is trying to shoot and the defender pushes the stomach or the torso of the defender, he didn't touch the arm, but also this can be considered as if it was a foul against the defender. But most of the time, the act or the contact happens with the hand, the arm, or the elbow. And take good care about the elbow, because sometimes this player, the defensive player, cannot reach the ball, so he just touches this point. You see, it's a little slight touch here, but it has a great effect on the shot. So don't neglect this touch, because this one is very, very interesting in calling the fouls. They are sometimes the defender is so wise, so he doesn't make any touch with the defender as with the attack, even just touching the elbow of the shooter. This is about the responsibility of the defender. Now let's talk about the responsibility of the attacker or the shooter. Sometimes in the layup shot, we see that the shooter tries to use his other hand to clear his path to the basket. This one is making a layup shot. Let's see like this. He's making a layup shot and he uses the other hand to prevent the defender. As long as he's protecting himself in his cylinder, you see he's now in his cylinder and he's trying to protect his ball. This is legal. But when the attack or the offensive player tries to make this action to prevent the defender, this is the responsibility of the shooter. So sometimes we may call this one as an offensive player. That's the first one. Another act sometimes happens with the shooter. Now, this player tries to shoot, and sometimes he pushes the defender with his hand, his left hand, to push him back and then clear his pass. This is also the responsibility of the offensive player, the shooter. Last thing that we have to take into consideration, because it happens many times, sometimes the shooter, when he's trying to shoot through the basket and there is a slight contact that didn't affect him, but this player jumps backward after he releases the ball to fake a foul. And this happens many times. This player, after releasing the ball, he is still in the act of shooting. So there was no contact, or maybe there was no slight contact, and this one falls back, and we have to take care about what he is making. And sometimes also, I didn't mention it, sometimes this player uses also his leg. You see, sometimes we see this leg to prevent the defender. This is also the responsibility of the attacking player. And remember always, if you judge the foul or the contact, remember the cylinder concept. Okay? And I think that's resuming the contact in the act of shooting. And the mic now, or the microphone is with Mr. GODE.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Falaki. Allow me to share the screen again. Thank you, Falaki, for the wonderful demonstration. But as I share the screen, remember Falaki concentrated in when we have foul situation, the principle of cylinder applies. So now what we want to take you through are illustrations of what has been demonstrated already. So we have a shot here by black, and the white here is the defensive player. So the shot is taken, and as Falaki has just clearly said, look at the contact on the elbow by the white player. This would be considered as a foul on black. Foul while the black player was in the act of shooting.
Right.
Okay, foul by white, thank you. Foul by white while the black player was in the act of shooting. But we just want to let you know, as a referee, when you are refereeing this, if you take concentration between the elbow and the wrist, this is where most of the contacts on the arm occurs by the defensive player. So if you take care of this, your possibility of judgment will always be accurate judgment will always be much better. In the next illustration, now the defensive player jumps with two arms right into the path of the offensive player. So you can see that the jump is inclinated. It is at an angle. So he has totally left his cylinder, and though the ball has already left the hands of the shooter, the rule says that the act of shooting ends for a player who has jumped. The act of shooting ends when the player has come back to the floor. So in this situation, the white player takes full responsibility of this contact. We will discuss the penalty later. In the next, oh, I didn't make a full screen. In the next slide, now we need to pick, again, similar to the first one, first illustration. Black is taking a shot. This time the contact is around here. We say that, just measure the contacts normally is between the elbow and the wrist. So this contact is just around the middle of the elbow and the wrist. And after the contact, the basket is good. So because we said in act of shooting, this is the main principle of act of shooting, that if a player is fouled in the judgment of the official in the act of shooting and the basket is good, then that basket shall count. This is very, very important. Now let's discuss the fourth illustration here. The black player is taking a shot. His teammate, who was probably taking a screen to give him room to shoot, is now fouled. In this moment of the foul, you as the referee, you as the official, you notice it and you blow it while the act of shooting for the player with the ball is taking place. So is this foul of the ball considered to have been in the act of shooting? Yes or no? If this basketball counts, the basket goes into the basket, shall it be validated? Shall the answer be yes or no? Shall we say this is a basket good or not? We have any?
Basket counts. Desmond says basket counts. Yes. Basket counts. Yes, basket good. Najib said basket good.
Okay, great. Then we are together. So we just need to, though the foul was off the ball, this player here with the ball had already started the process of shooting as we have described. So the penalty, of course, situation is totally different here now. The black team will still have possession of the ball, but there will be no free throws, as we shall discuss the penalty situations later. Okay, so let's go to the next illustration. Now, the next illustration, the black player is going for a shot, and as was clearly demonstrated by Mr. Falaki, now he uses his elbow to get space so that he can shoot. He's clearly used his hand to get space, to clear off so that he can shoot. And now he shoots. If this basket goes in, is it validated, yes or no?
No. Charles says no. No. No basket. Desmond says no basket. Najib said no basket.
Oh.
Najib.
Okay, I think then we are in sync. We agree. The fact that the ball was still in his hands, I'm not sure whether I have the other next situation. The fact that in this situation, the ball was still in his hands, then he lost the element of act of shooting when he made an offensive foul. So if the offensive foul happens and the ball is still in the player's hands, then the act of shooting is not considered anymore. So correct, we agree, no basket. How about the next illustration? Now we have the black player still shooting. The white player is running to try and play defense. The black player now puts an illegal screen. And the referee in this moment calls a block, illegal screen. While the ball is still in the hands, and he continues with a continuous movement and releases the ball and the basket. What is the opinion of our referees? Karim, opinion of our referees?
Basket counts. This one says, Charles says basket counts. Charlene, okay. Come on.
Yeah.
Nagib, where are you? Nagib said basket good and foul on number 8.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, let's resolve this. I wish somebody else resolved this for me because I don't agree with them. Falaki, I don't agree with the referees. They are saying basket good in this situation. I don't agree with them. You'd like to explain why?
Yes.
Please.
As long as we said that this is an offensive foul, so this player with the ball has come into advantage because he uses his hand to push the defender. So it is not allowed to let the defensive player, it's not allowed for the offensive player to push the defensive player, the attack, not allowed to push the defense to take the advantage to shoot through to the basket. So this player, the offensive player, has come through the cylinder of the defensive player and has taken an illegal advantage. Illegal advantage, so the basket illegal, and it must be neglected. This is for the shooter. The other illustration that says that there was an illegal screen. Now, if we have another 2 players now, another 2 players, and this one is making illegal screen. This means that if the defensive player is trying to go to the shooter, now the defensive player is moving to make illegal screen. As we explained before about the illegal screen, the screen must be stationary. It doesn't have to move. So also the offensive team has gained an advantage from this illegal screen. So at this time, this ball or this basket must not be valid because that was there was an illegal contact by the offensive team. In both cases in these illustrations, so the basket must not be counted because we call it offensive foul. And remember all the time, all times remember, if you call offensive foul, don't call the basket. If you say the basket is good when this player is in the air, so this is not an offensive foul. Okay, remember this case. Okay, thank you. Good day.
Thank you. Excellent, excellent. So just to repeat again, when you call an offensive foul, it means the player still has the ball in the hands. So
yes,
in both cases, it is the basket cannot be validated. It is unfair advantage for the defensive team. And like you said, however, if the ball was already in the air and this contact occurs, if the ball was already in the air and this contact occurs after the ball has left the player's hands, then the basket will count. This is what we just wanted to make in this. Okay.
Yes, Kone. I think our referees understood the difference, isn't it? Once the ball is in the still hand and there is a foul by offensive, so no basket count. Once the ball has left, because I think sometimes there's a confusion. Once it has already left and then the foul happens, basket will be counted and the foul will be on the black team, like here. So you can see the 2 different things. Thank you. Sorry for interrupting. Thank you.
Now let's see another situation. The offensive player here is going for a shot. This is our trying to illustrate. Then there is a foul by the red team. Of course, you can see our good referee has made the call. However, in this moment, after the contact and after the call, this player decides to pass the ball to his teammate. In this situation, this player will not be considered to be in the act of shooting. For this reason, the referee will not give this player any free throws because the final action was a pass. So this is important. If, however, the final action was a shot towards the basket, then the foul would be considered to have been in the act of shooting. So if the player fouls and then passes, there's a foul and then he passes, that is not considered to be in the act of shooting. Okay. Next illustration is on a tap situation. In this situation, what we are trying to illustrate, there was an initial shot to the basket. The ball rebounds back. Player number 4, white here, tries to tap the ball to the basket. And in the process of tapping the ball to the basket, and as usual, as we said, most of the contact is between the wrist and the elbow. Now there's a foul. Remember, we said the tap is also considered to be a shot to the basket. So in this case, this foul would be considered to be act of shooting. Right. How about a drive? And as had been illustrated earlier on, what is a drive? When the player is dribbling, gathers the ball and takes the step normally towards the basket. In this case, we want to assume this player was dribbling. He gathers the ball. Now you can see the ball has come to rest in his 2 hands and is attempting to go to this basket. Player white with his knees here, there's some little contact with his knees that now causes that contact. In this moment, if the referee calls the foul, this player would be considered to be in the act of shooting, all the way up to here, in this moment. So this player then would be entitled to the free throws that shall be discussed in a short while. Similar, this is too obvious. This is very, very obvious. So I don't even have to show that the entangling, this is very obvious. Next slide also shows us the white lady, the red lady player. Now here I want the participants to respond. My explanation is that this is still a dribble, but she's moving towards the basket. She's still dribbling. But in this moment, the white player comes in and you can see it's holding with the hand and there's some contact and the referee calls the foul. Will this be act of shooting? Yes or no?
No.
Karim, you are
Desmond says no. No, no, no.
Okay, excellent.
Sarah says no. No,
The
no,
reason,
no.
Yes, the reason is because the ball has not come to the rest of the player's hand, though he's moving towards the basket. This is the key issue. So basically, this is what we wanted to discuss about act of shooting. And you as referee, when you make the call on act of shooting, and remember, for a player who is jumping, usually we look at this. For the player who is taking a shot, for the player who is driving, more often than not, we are looking at the block situation. How do you tell everybody, how do you communicate the element of act of shooting? It is recommended, blow your whistle. If it is an act of shooting that will require 2 free throws, immediately show 2 free throws. That shows that that foul that occurred was in the act of shooting. When you blow and you point 2 free throws or 3 free throws. If the basket is good, then the issue is simple. There's no problem. It will always be 1. So if the basket is not good, then you'll either show 2 or 3, depending on where the foul took place. On the other hand, when you call a foul and you want to clearly show that that foul was not in the act of shooting, for example, here, if you call this foul, then you'll call the foul and point to the ground, and this clearly shows that this was not in the act of shooting when you point to the floor. So this mechanics, this officiating principle, this individual officiating technique is important in judgment, in communicating your decision to all that are involved in the act of shooting situation. So finally, we just need to know that in judgment, you need to know when the act of shooting begins for a player who is taking a set shot or a jump shot, for a player who is driving to the basket, and when it continues, and finally when it ends. When it ends, it is common for all of us, the ball released from the hands of the shooter, and for the shooter who has left the floor, both feet comes to the ground. When it begins, for the player who is driving to the basket is when he gathers the ball. For the player who is taking a set shot or a jump shot, when there's that motion towards, with the ball in both hands towards the basket, as was clearly demonstrated. And Mr. Karim, I would like to stop there for the act of shooting. I don't know whether we have sufficient time to take question, or we move to free throw and then take
question. We have only one question, but I think we'll move first with this and then come later, because we have now a few minutes remaining.
Yes.
So let me just switch on if my internet is quite okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let us start with the free throw administration. Let's start with small words in definition. What exactly free throw administration means? What does free throw mean actually? Free throw means you get to shoot to the basket without being conceded by anyone, means without being defended by anyone. You see, in football, when you get penalty, of course, there's a goalkeeper, but here there's not a goalkeeper, nothing, but you get the chance, or you get the opportunity to shoot for the point to the basket, being uncontested, you see. So this is a simple definition. And what is the situation? What point should you throw in? The throw-in should be made. It should be made from the free throw-in line inside the semicircle. You can all see here, we know the basketball ground. So this is the semicircle here. This is restricted area, and this is the free throw line here. Okay, I think this is very simple. All of us knows that. All free throws and possible throw-in possession of the ball resulting to the, I think this is very simple. I don't have to go much more details on this. I think the first definition is quite enough. Please go to next.
Okay.
Okay, position of the players during the free throw. As all of us, we know that total of 6 players, including the free thrower, should be at the free throw line for the free throw. 3 defensive player and 3 offensive player. But from the 3 offensive player, 1 will be shooter, 2 will be on the sides as rebounders, and 3 from the defense team will be on the side. And they will stand at the spots designated for the free throw, or for the rebounder to stand. What about the rest? Rest will be behind the free throw line extended. All remaining players will be standing there waiting for the process of free throw to be finished. We continue with the next slide, please. Okay, what are the principle? Free throw, what are the principle? What is the principle of, in this free throw? What are the, let's say, duties of the free throw? Simple what you can use of the free thrower. He should take the position in the semicircle and behind the free throw line, not anywhere else. This is the designation area where my colleague is showing you here. This one here is the position, or he should take in that circle or semicircle, the position of the shooter should be there. He can use any method of shooting for the free throw, for the basket. By jumping, maybe by throwing, by set shot, or by one hand, by 2 hands. It doesn't matter. Okay, so any type of method which he is comfortable, but important, he should be in that semicircle and not crossing the line, inside the free throw line. 5 seconds is the time limit given before you make your shot. when you are already given the ball for the shot, make sure within 5 seconds you make your first shot, or the only shot, whatever it is. So you must make a shot within 5 seconds. Make sure you don't touch or don't step on the free throw line. That is violation. Don't step on it. Or make sure that after you have released the ball and it has touched the ring, then only you will be allowed to leave your position that is inside the free throw line. You will only be allowed to leave after the ball has touched the ring. Of course, it will be different than the rebounder, but for you who are your shooter, make sure that you leave your position, your semicircle area, after the ball has touched the ring. No fake. Make sure you don't fake. If you fake, of course, we'll talk on the penalties, but the fake is not allowed. Everybody is ready for the rebound and then you fake. You don't shoot. Then you start dribbling again, get prepared again. No. If fake, then it is a violation. Please, let's carry on. Okay. Free throw lane. About the shall entitled to occupy the alternative position. You know, the thing is that there are 6 spots. Now, during the 6 spots, 5 players are allowed. 3 from defending team and 2 from offensive team. Now, the thing is that you must be standing on that designated spots only, not otherwise. Okay. However, if other players do not, let's say team A is shooting and the 2 offensive players are not ready to come for the rebound, you cannot take their position because you are designated, because there are two position on the sides, and in middle will be the offensive player, same as on other side. And on the both sides, it's not must that on the left side only 3 players can be on the that spot and 2 on other side. No, it can be on right side, there can be 3 players, and on left side there can be also there can be 2 players. So there is no any particular order that must be 3 players on this side. Okay. The players should not enter the restricted area. And you should enter the restricted area until the ball has left. Now you see the difference. The shooter is not allowed to cross the border before it has touched the ring. But the rebounding players can leave their spots after the ball has left the free throw hands, the shooter's hand. Then the players will now be allowed. They are allowed not till it touches the ring. Only the touches the ring is for the shooter. But for the rebounders, they can enter the restricted area after the ball has left the free throw hands. Okay. Okay. Now, you know, we have seen many times with some example. I will just give you by speaking. That you can see when the shooter is about to make his shot, there is a distraction. You can see some hands going up here. This is okay, hands going up there. But to distract, maybe by shouting or taking your hand up to the inside, I mean, and on the face of the shooter, that's not allowed. That can cause to another penalty, which we'll be talking later on. But distraction in general is not allowed to the free thrower. Please, we carry on with our next slide. Okay, players, as we have already talked, other players shall remain behind the free throw line extended and behind the 3-point field goal until the free throws ends, which I've already talked before. The rest of the players, they are supposed to be where? They stand where? Because only 6 players will be in that area, on that 5 on restricted area outside there, and 1 will be shooter. Rest will be outside means remain behind the free throw line extended. Means imagine in a line when you take extended, they should remain behind the 3-point, and they should remain behind the 3-point field goal line until the action, if it is 1 free throw, 3 free throws, 2 free throws, until the end. Until the end, then they will be allowed now to get in. If it's a rebound, then they will be allowed to move inside the restricted area. Please continue. Okay, if there is a let's say technical foul and unsportsmanlike foul, you know, during this only the shooter is allowed to go for the administration of the free throw. All 9 other players will remain behind the free throw line extended and behind the 3-point. No one, because there is no lineup, there is no rebound. What is the reason here? Because there's no rebound. So why the players should come and line up themselves, or anybody comes in that restricted area? No, all will remain behind the free throw line extended and behind the 3-point line, 3-point field goal line. All other 9 players. Okay, we carry on.
Yes, Karim, we will need to move so that we have time for questions.
Yeah, can you take this? No problem.
No, I just want you to continue a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Okay, free throw is successful and violation. Now we are talking about the violation. I think we are coming to an end here now. If the free thrower has shown or has thrown shoot the ball, and there is a violation committed by free throw shooter by himself, sorry, by stepping on the line or leaving the free throw line before it has left his hand or whatever it is, so that will be violation. So that will the basket will be, or that attempt will be cancelled. You see, if it is a violation is by the free thrower. Let's come to this. Free throw is successful and the violation is committed by a player or players other than the free throw shooter. You see, the side players who are waiting for the rebound. If the violation is committed by them, once the ball has already left the hand, it is now the basket goes in. So please disregard that violation. Count the basket and it goes. But there is a difference here. We are talking about a violation. Please don't mix up with the fouls. Fouls has a different penalty or different administration. But violation, if it has happened, the player has entered inside before the ball has been released, but then it was released and the basket goes in, please count it. It is counted and then the play continues. You see? And in case of the last free throw, the ball, if there is a violation, then the ball will, okay, in the last, let's say last attempt of the free throw, or the only free throw, there is a violation by the shooter, then the ball or the game will start at the sideline by the opponent team. In case of the free throw, last free throw, and it has gone inside, means it is basket counted, the violation has happened, then disregard this thing even by the opponent or by the defending team or by the offending team, disregard that, and then start the ball as usual by the team's end line. You start as the basket has been scored. So it's a normal procedure to start the game in the normal procedure. Please carry on. We have a few minutes left now.
Don't worry, we are negotiating for more time.
Yeah, okay, fine. We are talking about the penalties again here. Free throw is not successful and the violation committed by the free throw shooter or his teammate. Okay? This, I think we have already talked that if the free throw, the violation is committed by the shooter, so it's a violation and no basket will be counted. Now, we have already seen what violation: 5 seconds delay, stepping inside. We have already seen this kind of examples already. Okay, free throw is not successful. Violation is committed by opponent of the free throw shooter. A substitute free throw shall be awarded to the free throw. Now, here, if there was a violation of entering the restricted area before the ball has left the shooter's hand, and advantage has been taken by the opponent team by taking the rebound. So they are now in advantage. You see this kind of thing. They are in advantage, they've taken the rebound. So that is a violation by the opponent. So a substitute free throw will be given. If basket not scored, then rebound is taken, then the substitute free throw shall be awarded to the free throw shooter. And it always happen in the last free throw, because in between, if there's free three shots, one, people don't care. Two, even you see sometimes the players don't even come to line up there. They are out of, they are just talking or discussing something, and then last free throw, they come on the spots for the rebound. So this is the thing when exactly it happens during this time. Okay, free throw is not successful. Violation committed by both the teams. Okay, the shooter has not yet left the ball has not left the shooter's hand, and teams from both the teams enter in restricted area. Both simultaneously at the same time they enters. And if the ball enters, okay, it is a basket as we have already talked. If it is not, then what will happen? Because both of them have entered at the same time. So it's a jump ball situation. Okay. I think we have some questions. We'll take that. I think we come to, is there anything more here? Any questions?
Yes, so
I think
about
now
5 minutes to take, 5-6 minutes to take questions.
Yes.
Members, if you have any question on what we have so far, would be more than glad to respond. We are a team of 3 men to help one another. Let me remove the screen share.
Okay. Okay. GODE, we have one question from, I think, from Act of Shooting.
Mm-hmm.
It says the big man center usually bumps defense players to take him away from the position. You know, it happens sometimes, or by the shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
They try to remove by the shoulders, they bump by the shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
This considered to be offensive foul or what?
He has said it himself. You bumped
He's now
somebody
removed.
who is in legal guarding position, and you bumped it off position. Normally, that would be an offensive foul. But if you are using preventive officiating techniques, as was discussed earlier, you can prevent this from happening so that you don't have to stop the game. But so as long as you are the defensive player is within his cylinder and you are bumping to get him off, that will be an offensive foul for sure. Yes, I am not very good in the chat, so I don't know whether I can pick anything.
I think there's one question. He says that, is there any penalty for coach who shouts he can't shoot? He can't shoot. You know, sometimes they say, "Oh, he can't shoot. He can't shoot." You know, from the bench. Actually,
we discussed game control 2 days, 3 days ago. It depends on how you view that as a referee, but normally it depends on the environment. So you may want to sanction this, but my best bet is that if you can warn, if you don't like this situation, it is irritating, then kindly as a referee, warn the coach that this is irritating, and when now it happens again, now you have the right to give a technical foul to the coach.
Yes, it is always better first to warn and take this action at the very first moment when you see this thing. As we have already talked in the game control, make sure that you take, not you leave it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now there's a 5th free throw, and then you start warning. No, make sure. And sometimes, you know, we have seen that people come with bottles, empty bottles, plastic bottles. They start doing. That's also not allowed. That's not allowed. Try to warn from before those kind of things not to be, let's say, implemented while the free throw by the opponent is being administered. So you warn from before. That's much better. Take action, preventative action from before.
Yes. Okay.
There's another question.
Minutes. You have been allowed 3 more minutes.
Okay. About the act of shooting, isn't it unfair for the defensive team? Because as soon as the whistle is blown, the defensive team stops playing defense. Therefore, if the offensive player continues to score, the basket counts. Can you please enlighten? Okay, fine.
I think I like this question.
Mm-hmm.
I like his philosophy. It means he totally understands the principle, and he feels, or she feels, that this, what is his name?
Derek, I think, if I'm not mistaken. No, Gordon.
I think under,
Gordon.
he's saying, yes, there is a foul, and if we shared the screen, it would be nice to. I think I've been denied the rights. There's a foul and the ball is still here. Foul and the ball is still here. In this moment, the defense stops playing defense. This is normal. And he says the offense continues. So he feels this is illegal. This is not fair. I mean, according to him, because foul, ball still here, and he continues offensively, but defensively he has stopped. This is my understanding of his question. Well, this is the rule.
Last question.
This is the rule. So this is the rule. However, let him just know that if there was a block thereafter, this is legal.
Okay, I think this is the last question because we are out of time. During the shooting, defensive player shouts with an offensive player making a layup. No, shouting is, of course, a technical. It's not allowed.
Technical foul.
Yeah, it's a technical foul. Okay, but you make sure that you make sure that the player finishes the layup and then you take the action. Okay.
It's good to warn the player first, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to warn the player first.
Okay. Discuss about the areas of concentration to each referee during the free throw in 3 minutes of cheating. Okay. Means area of concentration, area of responsibility. Let's say that's mechanics.
Yes.
So
one, we have the referee who is administering the free throw. He's looking. I wish we had the screen. He's looking diagonally across the lane places, diagonally across. We have the referee on the free throw line. He's looking at the player on the line, and we have the referee opposite looking diagonally across. So each of the 3 referees have great responsibilities. I think these are very good questions. We should have put this in our presentation, the areas of responsibility for the 3 referees. But let me repeat, the one administering the free throw has 2 elements. The lane places diagonally across to him and the player taking the free throw. The one on the free throw lane with the hands up designates the number of free throws, also counting the 5 seconds. Okay? And he's also able to see the players diagonally across. Then, of course, we have the trail referee just to validate, or he has very little responsibility in this moment, but looking at the players outside the 3-point line. So this is a very good point he has brought. It is a nice, good point of mechanics. I appreciate it.
FIBA says time over. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. This was the last session of this e-learning. Thank you very much, Mr. Gode. Thank you, Falaki. Thank you, everyone who has participated. Thank you, FIBA. Thank you, FIBA Regional Office, Patrick, with your full technical members there. All, thank you very much. It was a very good opportunity. And inshallah, hope we have another session again and to serve you people. Well, I don't have, I'll ask my colleague to say the final word before we close down. As I said, this was the last session. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please go ahead.
Falaki.
Yes, thank you, GODE. Thank you, Karim, for allowing me to be a guest speaker in this few days. And I thank also the participants. And this is As Karim said, this is our last session or our last presentation for this level of Zoom clinic. And I hope all the participants have come into a good point now after explaining the rules and some points of the rules or some items of the rules. And the mic now goes to GODE. Thank you, GODE. Thank you, Karim.
Thank you very much, my colleagues, for being with us in this session. I want to thank the participants who have been here. I want to thank Botswana. I want to thank Lesotho. I want to thank Namibia. I thank Tanzania. I thank Uganda for being with us, and Zambia as well for being with us in this session. We really appreciate. I also want to thank FIBA Africa. Particularly, I thank Patrick and Diaby and our coordinator, Mr. Benga, for giving us the opportunity to interact with the people within Africa. I thank my colleagues. My special thanks goes to Falaki for agreeing to be a guest speaker in these two sessions. Thank you very much. I love your players. I hope I find where to find them also. Karim, thank you very much for being with us. It was not easy to be pairing, but we appreciate. And with that, I say bye-bye and back to FIBA. Bye-bye, everyone. See you, inshallah, one more time.
Bye. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.